Hello, everyone. This evening with me, I have Chris Wellness. What's up, man?
Yeah.
That was like so exciting. Normally, I'm like, "Hi, everyone," with me, but I'm like, no, you need like
Yeah,
a
I need
major
some fanfare,
celebration. Yes,
some
woo!
trumpets. Yeah.
My God, what's up, man? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Just riding the wave right now. Investing is up, stocks are up, hip hop is up. Everything that I'm involved with is up right now. So I'm feeling pretty good.
Good. So I'm glad we're catching you on this up because if you were down, it'd be pretty depressing conversation.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks sometimes, but you have to enjoy the good parts just as much as the bad parts are gonna suck.
That's very true. That is very true. So, but I'm glad we're catching you on a good note today. That means you're going to be happy and share
Yes.
all this info with us and just have a good time, right?
Yeah, full of energy.
Yes, exactly. So, Chris, if you would be so kind to give us a brief introduction about your life, and then we'll dive into all your work.
All right. Well, my name is Chris Wilmis. It's all one word on every platform. ChrisWilmis.com is where you find all the links. Um, I am a hip hop artist and then also a retail investor. So those are two worlds that you probably heard a lot about recently, and they just now intertwined. And at the intersection, that's me.
And here you are, the picture, you're the poster
Yes.
child of like all the intertwining of, the music and the investing side.
Yeah.
Nice. So, allegedly, from what I learned about you,
Allegedly.
allegedly, you're based out of Philly, but you were not born there.
Yeah, I
Can you
was not
confirm?
actually.
Yes, can you confirm or deny that fact that I just exclusively learned about you?
I can confirm that those are definitely facts. Those reports are true. Uh, I don't know who leaked it, but
I
yes,
can't I can't give out my sources unfortunately because they're super reliable and confidential.
that's sound reporting. Yeah, those are good sources.
As I'm like, it was totally you, but whatever. But yeah, so fun fact that I just learned about you is that you actually were not born in Philly, even though that you live there right now.
Yeah, I was actually born in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Uh, it was snowy there at the time, so like this is like kind of like my environment. It's another thing that's going my way right now.
Perfect. Wait, when's your birthday?
Oh, it's September 26th, so it's actually like early fall. But in North Dakota, it was already snowing when I was born.
That's wild.
Yeah.
When does the snow end there? What do you get like
I mean, like now
2 weeks of summer?
I haven't been back there in like a while, so I don't know because like it's snowing in Texas now, so I don't know what's going on in North Dakota.
That's so true. I know
So
Texas is so gnarly right now. I feel bad for those people,
yeah,
but like being in Philly, being in Boston, they don't know what storms like this are. So I feel so bad for the people that are like, what the hell is this? When we're like, oh, that's
yeah.
just another day for us. No biggie.
Well, then also their power grid is privatized. I heard. So like I don't know. I feel like the federal government is doing better at the places where the federal government is taking care of the power grid, but that's just me. I'm
Yes.
just Philadelphian.
Yeah.
That's
You're like, I'm just on a normal government grid that is run
yeah,
and generated and can share with other counties if need be. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like some things government is better at, and then some things they're not, and that's a legitimate discussion to have. But you know, you got to have it.
Exactly. Well, maybe Texas will wake up after this and realize that maybe they need to get into that government aspect of their energy sources, but we'll find out. We will find out.
We will
So,
see.
yes. So it is snowing right now in Philly, though, right?
A little bit. It tapered off most for the most part.
Okay. Yeah. Here it's like a light dusting right now, but we're supposed to get up to 6 inches over the next couple of days. I'm like, it is what it is. But
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
respectable amount.
exactly. But we're not here to like sit here and be chief meteorologists. Like, I want to
Yeah,
learn about you. So you were born in North Dakota, but moved to Philly at a young age. And I feel
yeah,
like that really like the environment that you grew up in has definitely influenced you as who you are as a human now.
Oh yeah. Being in Philadelphia and growing up like as a Philadelphian, uh, there's one thing that's been a constant throughout my entire life. That was being an Eagles fan. So like as a kid, I was going to be an Eagles fan, and it's it teaches you to deal with adversity in a different way. Like you can yell and scream and make all the noise you want and throw stuff, and then still, at the end of the day, you have to deal with the issue that was facing you in the beginning. So like being an Eagles fan, it does make you uniquely. I don't know how it is when you're the Patriots fan and you win every single year.
But right. I mean, it's kind of wonderful, not gonna lie, but
sounds pretty nice.
Now we don't have Tom Brady, so I mean, we definitely didn't win this year.
Yeah, he's off doing his own thing, so we both are feeling the pain right now. But it's just like, that it helps you deal with adversity, I feel like. But then also it makes you a bit of like a contrarian, where you want the adversity, you need it in order to function. So like right now, everything's going good. I'm like kind of like, what's gonna happen next?
Just about it.
Yeah, right. Like what's
things are going a little too good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want somebody to like drop a piano on me or something.
I hope that doesn't happen, but like I'm not gonna lie, if that ever did, I'd be like, you know what? He went in the way he predicted. Like this is
yeah. That's actually, it's like a pretty cool way to go out, like all things considered.
Right? I had like foot surgery a few years ago, and I had to go to the wake of a friend that had passed away, and somebody was there and they were like, oh my God, like I was still on like crutches and I had the boot, and they're like, what happened to you? Like shark attack. You just like, you got to make shit up, right? And make your life a little bit more entertaining. Or like, I would always like give different excuses as to why I was like in the boot or I couldn't walk or whatever. So it's like, why not have a fun death? Or at least like major injury. Like, yeah, this whole baby grand just came out of the sky.
Fell out of the sky. I don't know what they were doing up there. They were making the Tom and Jerry movie, and I was just walking
didn't they just make one? Or it's coming out? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's where you would find the piano to drop. Like they always have a guy.
They always have a guy. No biggie.
Yeah. Just hanging a piano like. Is that how you get it in the building, or like how do you get the piano?
Yeah, usually they have to like have it all like
on a crane, right?
Up and on a crane and through a window, and yeah, it's intense. So, I mean, the odds of it actually happening, like coming out of a window, are pretty good because they usually don't take it down a staircase. So
yeah, all right. It's a random thought. I just made myself anxious, like about this now. Like, oh,
you're gonna be walking in the middle of the street going forward. You're like, I cannot walk on any sidewalk in the off chance that a piano is gonna fall on me.
Yeah. I gotta call people like, who do I know that has a piano? Like, I'm not coming back over there.
Exactly, unless they live on the first floor.
Yeah.
Like,
I've actually been doing this. Like, there's a performance training that I was doing with Rec. It's like, singers and like rappers and actors will do this like so that you get your breath up. And like he's on the third story of this building and they have a piano in the window. So like he would be the person that I'd be going to waiting for outside, and the piano would be on the crane. So now I know what to watch out for.
Mm-hmm. You better look out. I hope I never hear about this like crazy story on the news. I'm like, oh my God, it was Chris.
Yeah. You got crushed by a piano.
I know. Oh, that's the worst. Although I hope you survive it and then you have like good content to write in your songs. But
yeah, that would
I want to talk quickly about Rec Philly and how jealous I am that you guys have such an amazing program there. That I'm like, I told one of my clients, I was like, I need Rec Philly to come to Boston. It would just be Rec Boston, because when I went there, I loved it. I mean, you guys have so many resources there, podcasting rooms, recording rooms, instruments,
It's awesome. And like beyond like the physical studio, beyond that, like, they have hell of equipment in there. But like you'll get these like monthly and weekly meetings with like entertainment lawyers and creative directors and stuff like that. Like, so like everything that you need to be in any facet of entertainment, they're going to give it to you as long as you're in there and you're part of the ecosystem.
That's amazing. Well, I know I was just on their Instagram and they have over 33,000 followers. I'm like, that's a lot of support for a place like this. I just love it because it really brings together
Yeah.
the creative community in this space. And it's like, for you, who we'll get to in just a moment, but like talking about your music, to Julia, who's our mutual friend who does photography there. I have a few other friends that have joined in there for acting and podcast, so it's like you guys all have such different talents, but you can come under one roof and like create such an amazing network. And I think it like goes way beyond like your wildest imagination of who you're going to know or, able to work with, which I think is so crazy. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like there's people that I've met in here that wouldn't have crossed paths otherwise.
Right.
And it's the same principle as the Wall Street Bets thing. There would have been no way for those people to get together to say that to an industry that was owned by larger companies, we have a valid point to make with what we're doing. And so like Rec Philly does that. Because like with me, I'm an investor and then also an artist. So like if you know anything about record contracts, when they come to a rapper and they give you a record contract, they don't want you to be able to read it.
Yes.
That's the one thing that they don't want. So like no label would ever want to deal with me anyway. Because I'm like, no, you got to change this. You got to change
You're thoroughly searching it. You're like, okay, on line 132A-426. This clearly and then they're like, oh shit, we're not getting anything past like, him. Come on now.
It's just not a good investment from a label standpoint. So like for me to do what I need to do, I need something like this where it could just be the ecosystem. And if you would just appreciate the message that you're putting out there, that can be the driver as opposed to a corporate function.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So speaking of you being an artist.
Yes.
You are a hip hop artist. I've listened to some of your songs and I love your sound. And I'm like, oh, your song Nostalgia. I was like, I can picture me driving on a hot summer day with my window down, blasting that. And I was like, that's a vibe. I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, like just the song Nostalgia. It's supposed to give you nostalgia,
There you go. Well, when it gets warmer in a few months from now, I'm going to do that and then have nostalgia about this conversation that we're having.
Yeah. So you're driving down to the beach.
Yes.
We talked about this.
We did. See, we're long lost friends, everybody that's just tuning into this now. I hope you guys.
We originally met in North Dakota.
I was actually there shoveling the snow off the walkway of when your parents brought you home from the hospital. That's what it was. Yeah, right? Thank you. I'm like, somebody give me some credit sometimes. But so you are a hip hop artist, but tell me about how you got started. Have you been doing this for a while, or was this kind of like a turning point? Like, I have this talent. Now I need to start exercising. Like, how did you get started in the biz?
Well, like I had actually been doing hip hop music for upwards of like 10 years now.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that's crazy because you're only 14. So it's crazy. You are talented.
Well, I'm actually 35 in all the interest of full disclosure. I can't get a beard.
Allegedly 35, right?
Allegedly not a clone. But yeah, I had been making music for like 10 years. The thing is, like, I was making hip hop music and it was atypical because like most of what everybody's going to be rapping about is like, well, not what they're going to be rapping about, but their vehicle in order to, what you're rapping for was mainly to get out of a worse situation, right?
Yep.
That's, the typical story. My story is like that. So it's just like, for me, I can choose my topic as to what I want to rap about. And I always just did that. It's only as of recently, I started, like rapping about the stuff that I was actually, my own actual life. But that's not relatable either. So it's like,
You're like, I go to work and then I come home and watch TV. And then they're like,
Yeah, I'm just like, I
That
just
is
drank.
relatable. No, that's
I'm
not
like,
what you sing about, but yeah.
yeah. Like, I'll be like, oh, I smoked a blunt and drank a bottle of Pinot Noir that costs $500 and then put that in the joint. And it's just like, that's not relatable. Like, that's not, but it's fun to listen to. And then like the stuff about, I'll throw a little like, it'll be like my Instagram story where it's random nonsense or just jokes. And then it's just like, boom, here's a nugget of real live information. And it's just like, it's in there and it might fuck your day up. It might not, you might miss it, but it gives you play value. But only if you go to, you have to know what you're listening for. But I'll leave that up to the people that are listening.
Right. Well, and that's exactly what I was going to say. In order to get those nuggets, you really have to actively listen and be like, what is Chris talking about in this song? Like, or does the title actually connect to like the message in this song? So it's nice to be able to digest on a different level. Cause sometimes like I'll listen to a song for years and years and years and you hear it. And then like, I know what I'm singing, but then when I go back and I actually look at the lyrics, I'm like, wow, like it's just so weird because it's like when I sing it versus like when I'm actually like physically reading it, I'm like, oh shit, like that's deep. Like I didn't realize like on that level or during that time frame how significant it was. And I'm just like, why didn't I ever like pick up on that? I don't know. So it's like pretty cool.
Like you want to make music that has that replay value and has the content, but then at the same time you have to also focus on making it fun to listen to. And like I was so content driven for the longest time just because like, I wanted to prove that I could do any sort of content. And now I'm just like, okay, I'm having fun with it. And now I'm getting a chance to talk about myself just because I'm having more fun with music. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And I think you get more creative in that aspect. Rec Philly. I know.
Rec Philly wouldn't happen.
Yeah. So speaking of, is that where you actually record your music or do you have like a little studio at your house? Like where do you usually like to, perform, I guess?
Well, like I'll record some stuff at Rec Philly, but like I don't want to be limited to just having to use their studios either. So like if there's other engineers that like, I listen to some of their work, I like what you do with somebody else, then I might want to use that engineer for myself or use his facilities. So it's like you shop around because the product is the music, and with Rec Philly, they're going to let you hone the product that you're in there for.
All right, good to know.
You don't have to use their stuff.
I know, but I was like, I would always go there because I'm like, it's so cool. Like, I definitely want to do something, but it's also nice to get in a creative space where, you're like, I can really truly focus or, have a different opportunity to work with somebody else and do all that. So I have a very pressing question for you.
All right.
Okay. On your Instagram, I see you very often wear a George Washington wig and red contacts.
Yes.
And I want to understand that. Is it like just your personality? Is it a message of your music? We're going to talk a little bit about like the financial world and I'm like currency, George Washington, so it's like I needed to like kind of bridge this music and this investing thing. And I was like, I think the George Washington wig is this, but I need you to help me with this.
So the red eyes is Chris Won't Miss, right? That's the first level of transformation.
Okay.
And then the level beyond that is the George Washington wig, and that's Young Gravity. He's more rambunctious and like, he's less like a less focused, not less focused, but like less controlled version.
So is that your alter ego?
Yeah, it's like there's like the SoundCloud version, I guess, like, how everybody has their colorful dreads and their gold teeth and everything like that. That's Young Gravity. He's with George Washington wig, and like he's got all the same powers, but like he's just a little bit out of control.
Okay. Now,
so like he's still.
Yeah. No, sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, like he still has the same, general mission. It's just two sides of the same coin per se.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I just want to know, where did you purchase it? That was my question. That's why I was like, no, you can go ahead because what you're saying is actually like valuable info. I'm like, I just want to know where you purchased this wig and if it's comfortable.
It's not comfortable.
Looks
I
itchy.
didn't. Yeah, it is really itchy. I actually got it off of Etsy though.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I was just like searching, and Amazon doesn't have anything like that. So it's just like, what's the next best thing? And it was on Etsy. So
That's amazing. Now, are we introducing any other new wigs or props like in future works? Like, do you have anything cooking that you can share with us?
I do have something cooking, but I can't share with
Okay,
us, right?
great.
Yeah.
I'll have to have you back
Part
on.
two, if you've ever seen the nostalgia video, that's the part two to the nostalgia video is currently in treatment right now, but it's a production right now.
Yes, I saw part one, part two, part three. I'm like, okay, we are having a whole series of this and it's evolving. So that's why I was like, I wonder if a new character will be introduced. I feel like we're
Yeah.
on Mortal Kombat right now, all these new
Yeah.
characters.
Mystery character is coming up, and
Yes.
it's definitely going to be good. I'm putting a lot more time and effort into part two, but it is just, it's so taxing. I had to take my time off in between because I just, you know, sheesh.
It
It's a
is.
lot.
Well, you can't rush the creative process because it's
Yeah.
never going to be happy whether you took your time with it or if you rushed into it. But I think you're more mindful if you do take your time and it executes as close as you want it to be. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
everybody's super critical about their work. So it's like to say you're 100% happy about your work, would you ever be able to actually say that?
Yeah, you need to have it 100%. Like with this, I have a specific creative vision in mind, and like I'm not cutting corners on anything. So it's going to be what I see in my mind. And I'm like, I am dead set on that right now. But it is going to take more time to do it. But it's cool because nobody else can do me anyway.
Right,
People get mad
exactly.
sometimes because they're like, they stole my idea and they ran with my idea. Like, if it was your idea, you could probably come up with another idea.
Exactly, exactly. Now, another question. Underneath that hoodie, are you wearing the George Washington wig right now?
Oh no, I'm going natural today.
Oh, look at you. Oh, natural. Oh, shoot. Look at
Yeah.
that fresh fade. Okay, okay. Imagine if you took it off and it was just like, wee.
It just comes out from the top down. Just
With that middle part. I'm like, oh my God.
yeah.
I'm so stupid. So I'm like, so corny, but I was like, I have to ask Chris about this wig because I was like,
Yeah.
I have a feeling, and like your little like Instagram like picture, your I don't even know like profile picture, whatever you want to call it,
Oh
is
yeah,
like
the quarter.
currency. Yeah. So I was
Yeah,
like, oh, it all has to tie in together.
it
But I
does.
was like, I gotta
If you
officially ask.
look at each thing individually, it just like looks like random nonsense. But then you put it all together, and there's the thread, and that's the whole thing. Like I put an album together. You can listen to each individual song and just have fun listening to the songs. But if you put it together, the reoccurring themes interplay with each other too.
And then
Which
everybody's like, mind
yeah,
blown. Yeah.
but I have to get people ready to listen to it first.
Take your time with part two. I'm excited to see the evolution. Do you have like an expected deadline that you want to hit, or it's just like whenever you really truly feel complete with this?
Well, here's the thing. Like, if I was with a label, they would give me a deadline. I'm not with a label. My budget is my own. So, like, if I decide to put it off for 2 weeks and just go on vacation, like, I had studio money, right? Set aside for a budget for 2021. And I had people that are part of the team, loosely affiliated with the team, because, like, I don't have a real team, but people that were expecting the music to get done got mad at me because I took the studio budget and spent it on Bitcoin. They were just like, well, why would you do that? I'm like, I doubled my money in a month. Why wouldn't I do that?
Right. Now I have double studio time. So,
Yeah.
you know, if
And
you
if
were
I
to
was with a
invest,
label, like if you're with a label, you can't do that. They'll be
right.
like, that was part of your budget. But this is the perks of being independent. Independent doesn't mean alone. That's one of our.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's the little tagline in their bio.
Yeah.
No, but that's, it's so good to say that because it's like, and the label may give you a budget, right? Where your hands are kind of washed from that, but I feel like you're
Yeah.
expected to be creative on their terms. So
And
it's
all,
not even
yeah,
just like the deadline, but like the direction. So where you're like, yes, I'm going to wear the red contacts. Yes, I'm going to wear this wig. Yes, this is what I'm going to incorporate next. They may be like,
yeah.
not so
Like,
fast.
nah, we
This is
don't
what
like
we
that.
want you to
Yeah, like you got to wear green contacts or something like that. Like, nah, I don't want to have to do that.
do. Like, that's a natural eye color. No, red, nobody
Yeah,
has. Like, I'm
that's the
wearing
whole point.
exactly. Exactly. So, talk to me a little bit about the whole investing realm that you're in, because allegedly you're not able to give financial advice. So, nobody like take this with a grain of salt, or take it with a grain of salt, but don't like take his word for it. But
Yeah.
like, you've actually been pretty successful, like trading and being really knowledgeable about the market. So how did you get interested in like this whole realm?
Well, first I had to preface by saying, yeah, I'm not a financial advisor. Blurpty blurpty blurp. Disclaimer goes on.
I was just
You
gonna say
know,
I'll put a fine print underneath it.
yeah, because that's an issue now. They were in the hearing trying to figure out where the line is between actual financial advisors. But the way I got into it, there was somebody that I worked with who was since 2017 on Robinhood because like he was talking to his financial advisor. They wanted to do things that he didn't want to do. And so he would, I'm going to take my money to Robinhood. And he had been pretty successful in between the 2017, 2018, 2019. That was a big boom for original Bitcoin boom. So he had been successful and I was working with him in 2019. I originally got on Robinhood and was, trying to glean information for him. There was a point where NASDAQ hit 20,000 and everybody freaked out. Yeah, it's never been here before. And he was like, like after each high, there's going to be a crash. Like it's inevitable. I'm just like, but, and nobody's seeing that right now. He's like, trust me, it's coming. So I'm just like, all right, so I'm not going to go too heavy into the market right now, but like, I want to be able to teach myself about this. And just like chasing trends in 2019, lost a bunch of money. Robinhood, I feel like personal opinion, this is not, you don't have to take my word for it. I think Robinhood is stupid. Please, what's his name from Robinhood? Don't come after me.
Neo from the Matrix.
Yeah, don't try to pull me back in the Matrix, but I just feel like it's stupid. And the time when I thought it was stupid was February 29th. They didn't know there was an extra day in February, so everybody got screwed. Everybody got locked out of Robinhood on February 29th. And I said, that was my point of breaking point. I'm out of here. Give me my money. I'm out. And I switched it to something else. And it just so happens I was switching during the time where the major crash was happening. So like I got spared a bunch of that. I went to go talk to a financial. Yeah, for real, for real. That was just lucky because of February 29th, not because I knew this was coming. It's just like, yeah. So like that was a blessing right there. But I went to go talk to a financial advisor. And because at that point, I'm already shook. Like I saw what happened. I'm like, oh, I'm not about to get back in there. I'm not putting my money back in the market at this point. I'm going to give it to somebody who knows what they're doing. They were telling me they don't want to invest in weed and they don't want to invest in Bitcoin.
Okay.
Because like as an institution in March of 2020, that's not something that they were interested in. And I thought that was stupid. So I was like, I guess I will just take my money and do what I'm going to do from here. And I'm going to educate myself. And that's when like I really started to set extra time out of my day and say like, you know what, let me take these 10 stocks, do real research on these companies and see, what is going to be viable at the time that I need it to be viable. And as long as you keep doing that, you'll be okay when you're investing. But if you're just got a favorite YouTuber and you're taking his tips, it's probably not going to work out for you. You can't do this if you're not willing to educate yourself.
Right.
So there's the barrier. And that's why I feel like more people should just start with the Google test. If you hear something, Google it.
Right. But here you are, an independent self financial advisor, an independent music artist. So it's like, you got to give yourself props because it's a lot of education, in order to be in both industries, because you have to understand what comes with the music territory and in terms of like the engineering process and who, like the recording equipment, you know, you have to learn all of that yourself. It's not given to you, but also
Yeah.
like the knowledge of, you know, investing, because had you listened to that financial advisor, where would your money have gone? I mean, you took that studio money and doubled it in no time.
Yeah.
What would that person have done with your money? We don't know.
I mean, like I have some more moderate ETFs that have not performed the way that, you know, because you still want to put a little bit of money aside in the safe stuff to hedge your bets. But like I do enough research to look at your percentage and look at my percentage and be like, come on, man, I'm balling out here.
Yes, I know. And then I'll be seeing you on a yacht for your next music video. You're like, oh, this is my money from Bitcoin, no biggie. And I'm like, damn, Chris won't miss like a whole trading day. Shit. I'm like, he's on this.
Yeah. That's the ultimate goal. Get on the boat and take the boat to Mars.
Yes. It's gonna have wings and we're gonna fly up there. Okay, so what is the new cryptocurrency? I know it's like not dog coin, but what is that? Because that Elon Musk had just actually put like a shit ton of money into that. Dogecoin.
Dogecoin?
Yeah, I'm like Dogecoin. I don't know. It's dog with like an E in there. So
yeah, like the way it's supposed to be pronounced, I guess, is Doge, but you know, it's a meme anyway, so like nobody cares how you really say it, you know. But like things like that, it's like I feel like it's more a distraction in the sense that when I'm putting money towards a cryptocurrency, I want Bitcoin, I want Ethereum, I want Litecoin because they're sustainable. Institutions have purchased them, and there are also growth potential there. When I see Dogecoin, I see a lot of growth potential. But if you're talking about a year and a half, is Dogecoin going to be double what it's worth right now? You can't, with any reasonable certainty, say that that's the case. Just, you know, there's no way to really predict that. However, people on the internet can make anything worth whatever that they want in the short term, and they proved it with GameStop. So like if you think you can get into Dogecoin and get back out with a reasonable amount of money, more power to you. I'm just not doing it. It's not me, you know. I have friends that own Dogecoin, but like, you know, I'm sure Elon knows what he's doing.
Right. I mean, but even if he loses money on it, he still has so much more money that it's like chump change to him, you know? I mean, he is the richest man right now. He beat out Jeff Bezos officially. So it's just like.
Well, Jeff Bezos got back on top though.
Since when? This is breaking information. I had no idea.
Yeah, that was earlier this week. Monday, Amazon went up and Tesla went down in terms of stock valuation. And so with that, Jeff Bezos went back on top.
See, this is why I have you, because I did not know that info. So I've been hearing all about the ice storms in Texas and the impeachment trial and all this. So I'm like, I did not know about this. So, well, there we go. Thank you for answering that. Well, I'm always like intrigued about cryptocurrency because I just wonder about like the future of how we're going to be handling business practices, because I'm like a huge fan of the show Queen of the South. That's one of my favorite shows. I don't know if you've ever heard about it.
I've heard about it. I haven't seen it though. Okay,
you have to binge watch it. All of the seasons are on Netflix, and they're currently filming season 5 right now. So just so you know, if you love it, it will be coming out soon. But Teresa, who's the main character, actually invests in cryptocurrency. You know, she is like the head of a drug cartel, and she's like, what's the easiest way that I'm going to be able to get my money from point A to point B and kind of just like under the radar and not carry one cash in a duffel bag, you know? So it was like interesting to see
the elegant solution, right?
Exactly. And they were like, we're going to break it up into all these different files and it's going to go here and all of your money is on a hard drive. And I was like, whoa, you know, I just like thinking like, you know, 50 years down the road, are we just going to sit there like carrying hard drives around? Is that what we're going to do instead of like inserting our card? We just we do
that right now though.
True.
Like Apple Pay.
True.
You know,
I'm so old school. I'm like, let me insert my card and enter my PIN. I'm just like,
sometimes I'll
whatever.
do it. Like if a specific card will give me like cash back or something, and it's not on my Apple Wallet, yeah, I'll do like that. But like for the most part, I'm paying with everything with my phone anyway. So it's like it's a pretty good job. Also, on the low, people have been doing that since like 2009. It was mainly drug dealer currency, and that's why nobody takes it seriously.
Oh,
Yeah.
the more you I don't know this stuff. I'm like,
Like that's why I
interesting.
didn't want to seriously invest in it beforehand because like I had known Bitcoin from before when I used to deal with less than reputable characters. That was like something to use because
Those
it's
were the people in North Dakota when you were under 2 years
yeah.
old, right?
When I was in the slums of North Dakota back then, we used to
I would imagine what like a slum in North Dakota would be.
just
Um,
like some dirt, probably.
yeah, like a rundown like trailer park. Like,
Yeah, just
yeah.
some dirt, flat
I'm
dirt.
just gonna Google this after this conversation. I'm gonna be like, slums of North Dakota and see what pops up. That's gonna be my homework for the
Yeah,
week. Yeah,
it's gonna be mine too because I don't know.
this is fun education for both of us. We're gonna find out something.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but it's like really interesting just to see like the evolution because you're definitely way more knowledgeable about the cryptocurrency. So I was like, you know what, this is a great way to like get a little bit of an education on it, but how you're really trying to like fuse both parts of your world together. That's why I was like, oh, this is so interesting. That's why I wanted to have this conversation with you because I'm like, the dynamic is like so different. And I feel like you could
Yeah.
also like where you could talk about what you know and put it into your music. So you're dropping those nuggets there, but then
Yeah.
also take the money that you're making from your music to invest in there. So it's all like full circle. That's
It's
your
true.
ecosystem. Yeah.
It is. Like my music royalties come in on a service that pays me through PayPal. And then I just have it converted to Ethereum as soon as it comes to my account. That's literally what I have been doing.
That's
It's
so interesting.
yeah. So it's like you don't get paid in crypto per se, but like that's literally what's happening. It's just the exchange rate is the only difference.
So like what if you were to like say I want to empty out that bank account like and say you're like in a banking institute or
Yeah.
whatever. Do they give you like US dollars? Like how does that work if you were to like cash it out?
Well, like if you don't own it through an institution, it's the same way like a piece of gold. You can buy a bar of gold and put it under your bed. You can't buy anything with that. If your gold's in the bank, then you can borrow against it. So like my cryptocurrency is in institutions.
Okay.
So like if I need a deposit, you know, $200 or something like that, I can just take it out of there and it just gets deposited to that account instantly.
Okay.
Because they actually own the cryptocurrency. They have the wallet keys. If you ever heard anybody talk about their wallet and their keys as when it comes in cryptocurrency, it's like a specific code that you have on those little hard drives, and that's where you have your money. If you don't have that, then you have it in an institution, which is fine. It's actually easier for what I'm using it for.
Got it. Kind of like that guy that just like locked himself out of yes. That poor guy. It's
Yeah.
like, oh shit.
That was like, yeah, I heard that, and yeah, that's the saddest story.
I feel so terrible. And he was just like, you know what, at this point, it is what it is. And I was like, he has such a good spirit about this because I would be like, I am gonna end my life if I can't.
You know, he went through the stages. He went through the 5 stages. He just didn't put it publicly.
Yes, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
You know, he
but
went
it's
through
like
depression.
My frame of reference of cryptocurrency is Queen of the South, that guy, and you. So like, that's what I was like.
I'm the first positive cryptocurrency experience you've had thus far.
Yeah, because like Teresa literally killed a bitch over like getting her money and they had to rob the bank and she like stabbed her for the hard drive. Like, I don't want to ruin the show too much for you. I mean, she's a badass. I love her, but like
Now that she's like dealing drugs and getting Bitcoin for it, like, yeah, that's relatable. It's very relatable.
You're like, oh, actually, this is relatable
It's
content.
like,
Yes,
huh,
yes.
relatable content. What do you know?
I love it, but I was just like, oh, like this is intense, But I'm
Yeah,
like, but there's that whole like underworld of it. And then I'm like, that's all I really like know about it. And then I heard about the guy. Have I done my own research? No. That's why I'm like, okay, my
yeah,
frame of reference is so limited, but it's like interesting to see that you're literally taking your royalties and having it put towards that, and not
yeah.
just saying like, oh, just yeah, give me the cash, no big deal. I mean, it's really interesting to see how you take it and what you're doing with it.
Well, from a musician standpoint, if you've ever gotten royalties for music, you know it's not going to be like it's not a huge amount of money at any given time, unless you're doing millions and millions and millions of streams. But if you take that little bit and it doubles, say in the month to the next month, like if I get a royalty check, it's like $20 or something like that from Apple Music. And
$20 you did not have before, my friend. So
if I sit there and take the $20 a month from now, it'll still be $20. If I get Ethereum with it, then at the end of the month, it's $60. So I got $60 from my royalties from November as opposed to 20. Let's see what we do with the next month. And, why not,
it's
Why not do that?
amazing. Right. But I'm like, you could have, at your point, have your own like record label. And then if
Yeah,
you sign on artists and you're like, I'm not going to be shisty, I will give you like,
right. I'll
grant
pay you in Bitcoin.
exactly, exactly. And like literally you could write their contract in crayon and it would be so simple. Like make your
Yeah.
music, you get paid in Bitcoin. The end. Sign here, It's like that's
But
it.
like the thing, like in Queen of the South, the original attraction to Bitcoin was the people who wanted to do nefarious things and not be traced by governments. So that was the initial draw to Bitcoin. Now it's gotten to the point where it's a big thing, and the draw to it is it's not controlled by any of these governments, so it equalizes everything that is finance. Everything is on an equal scale now. Nobody can screw you over when we're working with this system. You can't just cheat the blockchain, and that's what's awesome about it.
This is so interesting. So I'm gonna look slums of North Dakota
Yeah.
and cryptocurrency tonight. That's my homework. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna be looking in. That's so awesome. So like where do you expect it to take you like in the next 5 years? Like do you have a game plan or are you just like enjoying the the education and getting into this like just jumping in, or do you really have like a goal like this is what I want to achieve with this?
Well, like in terms of just the cryptocurrency, in terms of everything overall.
Well, we'll start with cryptocurrency, but then we will tie it to everything.
Well, cryptocurrency is an investment like any other investment, and it's just risk based. I feel like 5 years from now, I'm dealing with pretty stable coins. So like they're all going to be around, even if they're worth a little less than I would hope them to be. They're still going to be around there. They're still going to gain in value, the same way as if you were to buy gold or anything else like that. And so, the goal is really to have my passive income pay me the living wage. So I don't have to ask the US government, pay me a living wage. Like I'll already have one. So even if everything falls through and I just had to go work at like a McDonald's or something like that, I'm still going to have like a good livable income just coming in from investments. That's the main goal for 5 years from now.
Okay. Which is good.
Yeah.
Because like some people are like, I want to become a millionaire off of this. And some people are just like, I just want to have like a different stream of income and,
Yeah.
have a backup plan in case this falls through. So it's nice to know that you're like, essentially you can do what you want, how you want to do it, but it's just like, it's always going to be there and it's going to continue to grow for you.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, like if you have a minimum wage income and you just have that, if you had that coming from passive income, you might, go back to school, or like you start to look at life in terms of I can do what invigorates me and makes me feel challenged and makes me want to get out of bed in the morning, as opposed to like I have to do this now. If you get paid minimum wage off of just stocks, bonds, and crypto, then like I don't have to do anything,
Right.
can't, like, even if I work at a McDonald's, my boss call me up like, hey, I want you to work on Black Friday. I can be like, ooh, that sucks. Okay, I quit.
Right, exactly. You're like, I don't have to be there.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
have to do that.
choosing to be there.
Yeah.
So,
And that's how life should be. Like, you should be able to do what you love to do.
and thankfully you're doing that, which is really awesome. You know, you're in a good position right now in your life.
Fun.
You know, for again, being 14 years old, you have your head on
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah, man. I just started high school and I'm already looking up.
I know. I'm like, you're like the Doogie Howser of, you know, music and money. No, but like just circle back, like, you know, for the 5-year game plan, like where do you
Yeah.
expect on your music, like the avenue for that? Like what do you want to do with your music? Because you're definitely passionate about it.
Yeah.
And of course, we want to stream you as much as we can, so you make all these royalty.
Oh,
Ethereum.
yeah, definitely.
Wait, what is it? Ethereum? What is it?
Ethereum? I really don't know how to pronounce Ethereum. I'm going to be totally honest right now. I have no idea. Some people say Ethereum. Some people say Ethereum. It's
Ethereum or whatever you said. But
Ethereum?
yeah.
Ethereum sounds better.
Yeah, that sounds fancy. Let's go.
Yeah. A little Ethereum. Yeah. Well, like, this is the thing. With my music goals, it's different because it's not money based. My music goals, I'm passionate about that for a totally different reason. And the reason is I want to be the person that if you ever like seen a good hip hop beef, like Ja Rule versus 50 Cent or Jay-Z versus Nas or something like that. My favorite rapper was always Eminem. He never had the opportunity to have a really good like beef where somebody could, you know, somebody could give it to you the same way that you can give it to them. And so I want to be that person for him where like he feels like I'm on the ropes a little bit. And I describe it as like I need to give him his ether moment. Like when I drop ether and then, yeah. I need
Ether and Ethereum or
Yes.
Ethereum.
It all
Still don't know how to pronounce it.
it's all coming together. It's all intertwined.
But Chris, I have to disagree with you because Eminem did have a contender. He was the star of 8 Mile. Come on. Like that is the whole basis. No, I'm just kidding. I'm teasing.
Yeah.
I'm teasing. No. But like real life Eminem, not like, you know, his sidekick
Like-
Cheddar Bob, like whatever. No, it's like literally.
Yeah, like that was the movie. Like that, the type of adversity that he built up in that movie made it a great movie. But he's never had that real life situation. So like, I'm trying to give him that 8 Mile in real life. I'm gonna make Eminem. Yeah.
No, I know. I'm just fucking with you. I was like, hello. Have you not seen 8 Mile? Like, come on now. No, but I mean, that would be amazing because I feel like you're right.
Wouldn't
like,
he want that? Wouldn't he want that from his situation? Like
absolutely.
He wrote 8 Mile and like I know what he came up in and just like the way that he makes music and everything like that. Like I feel like that's what he would want. I feel like that's why he's still out here trying to do that. And it's just like you can do that with MGK and Nick Cannon, or you could stop wasting your time.
Right,
Basically.
exactly. Well, and it's like where we would have all of these like beefs in the past. Now it's a versus battle, you know? So it's like, it's definitely a lot softer of a, it's not like really a beef. I mean, we want like the Ja Rule and 50 Cent. We want the Jay-Z and Nas, like, you know, we don't want anybody dead from it, but we want this beef because it definitely like fuels that creative fire. And we're like, yes, like you get fire songs coming out of them. It's like, but it's like Jay-Z was like, yeah, I sampled your voice. You was using it wrong. You made it a hot line. I made it a hot song. And it's like, you know, I'm sorry, but like, you didn't even use your own shit to your benefit. And I took it and blew up from it. And that's your fault. And that's why we're beefing, but whatever. But
I mean, Jay-Z won ultimately that battle, but like, I feel like the Ether moment is the strongest moment when Nas dropped Ether. That was the strongest moment of that. And it's just like, that's my mentality when I'm saying like, I don't have any malicious intent towards Eminem.
No, but like, you want to give him competition.
Yes. I feel like he would want that. And like, even if I lose, I feel like, you know, that's good enough to be something to be motivated about in terms of music.
Absolutely.
So that's my goal. A lot of people want to be like famous or like, I'm going to get rich off of this. And I'm just like, we don't mesh because we're not doing the same thing.
Right. You're doing it because you're passionate about it and you're talented enough
Yeah.
to be doing this. But even like Eminem right now has new music that's out, but I'm just like,
Uninspired.
yes, yes, but I'm just like, I take a look. I mean, like his first EP, like I literally had the CD. I'm in 8th grade going into 9th grade,
Yeah.
literally before anybody knew who Eminem was. And I'm listening.
Right?
Huh?
Infinite came out at the same time. I went to go buy Jay-Z's Life and Times Volume 1, and I just happened to see it. So I'm like, I'm going to get both of these.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, who is the white guy?
Yeah, you're like, who's this little like blonde-headed, like white dude singing Brain Damage? But that was literally like my whole universe. And like one of my best friends from back home, she and I would listen to it all the time. And then like end of like 9th grade going into 10th grade is then when Eminem started picking up traction and like Dr. Dre's on the scene and everybody starts coming out and they're like, oh, Eminem. And I was like, and I hate to like be that person, but I was like, I knew about him last year, like, but that's how it was. And I'm like, that's like the beginning Eminem. Like that's his music that I love. And like, I'll still listen to his new songs that are out on the radio right now. And I'm like, this is good.
I mean, it's better comparatively speaking than the rest of the stuff that's, it can be marginal in today's world. But like, you and I know the real Eminem, and this is not it.
Yes.
So like, that's my quest is I'm going to find the real Slim Shady and make him stand up.
Yes.
That's what I'm out here trying to do.
No, you have to, honestly, because it's like, well, exactly what you said. It's like kind of uninspired. It's very mainstream right now for the sound of what today's musicians are producing out there. So yeah, I mean, it kind of falls in line. It's not like, oh my God, this is breakthrough music. Yeah. But I feel like this is him just like, I've kind of retired and I've been living my good life and, I'm kind of bored right now. Time to just like throw out some new music. Like, I think that's what it is.
When I listen to it, like I can tell that you're just bored. Who just, and Jimmy Iovine called you up and just sent you these joints and just said, do something. And you're like, all right, whatever, I guess.
Right.
And it's like, like I can tell by listening to it that it is just not it, So why even do it? Because like he said, he's living his good life. Why are you even doing this? Just retire then.
Exactly.
Except for he wants that ether moment. That's why he's still out here trying to do it.
Yes.
This is the only thing I can think logically. Eminem doesn't need the money.
No.
He doesn't need the fame. He doesn't need the accolades. He already said he doesn't want a Grammy.
It's interesting. I mean, he still has good bars in these songs. Especially comparing to like some of the artists out there right now, which I'm like, these are complete trash. Like, this is not hip hop. I mean, because we also grew up in the same era. So like listening to the music and like what we grew up and hearing, quality lyrics versus like right now, it's like the same topics, but just
like you can have both. You can have both. You can have the fun music and the lyrics. Like that's what I've been trying to find as of recently. And I know Eminem can do it because he's done it before. It's just the fact that you're putting yourself out here making uninspired music, charting and all this stuff. Why would you be doing this? You already told us in so many words you don't care about any of these accolades. Right. You don't care about going platinum. Like, we know this. So like, why are you trying to fit into this new scene? What is your motivation right now? And the only thing I can think for him is that he wants to get into something.
But he's ruining his legacy at this point because it's like you have like a huge catalog of really hard music that defines who you are as an artist. And now like Eminem 2.0 is a lot softer. And I'm like, this is not who you are.
Do you watch football at all?
From time to time. I mean, I just watched the Super Bowl, but I don't think I've watched a game probably all season besides that. But yeah.
Do you know who Brett Favre is?
Yes.
All right. So Brett Favre was playing with the Packers for a very long time, had a long, illustrious career with the Packers. And And then it got to the point where they drafted Aaron Rodgers, and everybody knew what was up. Aaron Rodgers is our new quarterback. And Brett Favre threw a fit, was like, "You got to trade me," gets traded around the league, and ends up his last game he was playing for the Vikings against the Packers. And like he got hurt and got carted off the field. So like it was you're playing for your rival of the team that you rode up and came up and became great upon, and you getting beat up as an old man on the field, and you got to leave out with an injury. Why would you do that?
Right.
It's
right. Just retire.
It's just the love of the game. And so that's why I'm just like, this is the only, that must be it. It's just the love of the game for him. And so, but you're protected by your label, and the Interscope is a huge machine. If Eminem goes down, that's an issue for them.
True. That's true. That's very
true. He's
going
to keep on trying. He's going to keep trying to get himself actually kamikaze. And there's no way to stop him from doing that. I just want to help him, get to where he's trying to go.
See, and this is why we need people to continue streaming you. And then Eminem will somehow hear your name and automatically feel threatened and was like, I need to battle.
He's not going to feel threatened. He's going to feel excited. He's going to be like, oh, finally.
Yes.
Yes.
That is the moment. And you're going to be like, yeah, you grew up in Michigan. I grew up in North Dakota.
I was right there.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just a couple states over. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it's like, it's interesting to see, so like every month, like the first Friday of every month, I've now dedicated my anti-social weekend playlist to like highlighting specific cities, and I just like think about, all the different artists that come out of like certain cities. Like I just did Chicago, and then
it's a good city for music.
Like Miami and New York. Like New York is going to have like 3 different playlists. Songs per like playlist. But it's like really interesting to see certain sounds that come from certain areas. I mean, you have Big Sean that's also from Detroit, very different sound. So it's like, it's interesting to see like different influences or upbringing that really gets these artists to these moments. And, you can't put Eminem and Big Sean on the same pedestal. They're both great artists, but they don't really have anything in common. So it's like interesting to see. So,
well, I mean, they do have I would say like an enhanced level of lyricism to their music. But like, other than that, like you said, it's 2 very different sounds. Yeah.
So like, who is your, like, yes, you're one day going to battle Eminem, but like, who are your other musical influences? Like when you were growing up and like you started getting into music 10 years ago, you're like, oh, this is like who I'm really inspired by, or this is who I kind of want to emulate my sound, like, was there anything specific?
There really is like no person specifically. In terms of like the reason, the main motivator behind my music, I would have to say Eminem, because, that was just my mission. But it's not even his music specifically, because like when I am truly inspired, it's less so about the person and it's more so about the actual art that the person made. So like there's great songs that I, from obscure artists like Chingy and like other things like that, that like came and like played in the playlist.
Dan Chingy, yes.
Chingy was in there. Just there's so many random people that I've listened to that, like, you might hear OJ the Juice Man.
Yep.
Couple songs of his. It's just like when I think about like who is the inspiration to why I'm doing anything, I always run a blank, because I'm always like, it was these songs and like in this time, and that's what made me feel this type of way about how I was going to go about something else. It's never the person as much as it is the actual art for me. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, it's nice because like artists like the 2 that you just mentioned, I feel like their tastes or their sounds are forever changing. It's not, there's certain artists that are out there. Like, I'm going to just like throw Future out there, just,
But I'm a fan of Future. I feel like his, he had a consistent career, sonically wise, musically wise, made a lot of great music.
Absolutely. But if you were to turn on the radio, his sound is like chronically the same. you know?
Yeah.
Like there's always like, even if it's like the tempo, like whatever, or even like a small beat in the background, like you would turn on the radio without even have to look, like looking to see who is like actually the artist behind it. You could be like, oh, this is Future. I can tell by
Yeah.
the sound, you know. And it's like, it's nice because I think even just listening to your songs on Apple Music, I'm like, you definitely have a wide range of different sounds.
Yeah. I
And I
go all
think,
over the place.
yeah, but that's the good thing about it, because you're not just like, hi, I'm in a beginner stage where I just downloaded these beats from some app I found on my phone and let me
Yeah.
try it. You're like,
Over
no, let
YouTube
me
or something.
experiment, or my message behind this
Yeah.
has to match the sound that I'm putting to, you know. So it's like always cool to do that. But, you know, Eminem, like for
Well, like a
his,
lot of that like comes from the fact that like I'm not on a label, so I'm not on a schedule. I make music when I feel inspired to make music. So like if you're on a label schedule and they say like get this album done within this time, maybe these songs are gonna sound similar. I made them all in the month of May or whatever. You know, I was trying to meet the deadline. I'm not saying that's how it goes down, but like, you know, it changes the way that you make it. Like it took me about this most recent album like a year and a half to make it, just because I was only making the songs when I was inspired. Beforehand, like I would just be dropping mixtapes consistently for like, you know, it would be like 2 in a month, and just like doing that, rapping on other people's beats, just making a bunch of freestyles just to fill up time. And I'm just like, this is exhausting for one thing, and then like secondly, I'm just not inspired doing this. It sounds uninspired when I listen to it, so it's like I don't want to have that out there, you know.
but you're also taking somebody else's beat and using it as an inspiration and putting your own lyrics to it, where
Yeah.
now you're developing your own sound. It has such a different behind it, because you're like, this is my sound with my lyrics attached to
Yeah.
it, you know. So it's a whole different vibe from there.
Yeah, I guess that is like part of the process, being able to just go through that much. Because I've gone through making a whole bunch of music to get to this point where I'm just like, this is what I want to sound like. And I know I can sound like that because I know where my range is at.
Right.
So
So
I guess it's all part of the process.
absolutely. So what you're telling me, your next like step in the nostalgia like series, are you going country? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
I could. Don't rule it out.
Yeah, little Chris X, you know, like you're the new Lil X. You're
Yeah.
gonna just take you and be like, yes, country. And then we'll have a classical moment. You know, it's all like different steps of your musical journey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, the third part, politics, is more of like a pop sound. So like that's not really even a real hip hop song. And then after that, there's another trilogy where there's some different sounding music. So like, you know, we won't rule it out. We could do country.
Yeah. Listen, I could have just inspired you now. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but I listened to politics after I listened to nostalgia. I'm like, wow, like just your range is like what I'm like really
Yeah.
into, because I was like, you have such different sounds, but you adapt to them so well, which is nice. And like I would say, like nostalgia's harder. Politics is a little bit softer, you know,
Yeah.
but not to say like it's any like worse or better than, you know, one another. But I'm like, oh no, this is pretty cool, because like you have a good range.
It is. Like one is a softer sound. Like, you know, sometimes you want a harder sound, sometimes you want a softer sound. You know?
You're like, sometimes I just want to listen to Britney Spears, and then sometimes
Yeah.
I want to listen
Sometimes you
to
want to listen to Megan, and sometimes you want to listen to Doja Cat. Sometimes you want to
Yes.
listen to them both at the same time.
at the same damn time. Yes.
Right.
Or you have Sweetie and Doja, that's my best friend, like whatever that new song. I'm like, it's fun, it's catchy, but if you listen to that song probably like 2 or 3 times in a row, you'd be so sick of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
so when you talk about like having the ability to like constantly be like the playback value or whatever you mentioned it, it's like that's what your music is. Like that best friend song, like I was like, okay, this is like a mini bop because it's catchy, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I could never listen to that over and over again. I'd be so sick of it. So
Yeah. You have to make something that's catchy and then also be like, I'm not sick of this song. Like when Panda came out, you could listen to that a bunch of times, and I still love Panda. Shout out to Designer. That was his only song.
you know, I have like a like another song or two on my phone, and I'm like,
Yeah, I got the whole album. I downloaded it and I was just like, oh, okay. All right.
You're like, no, I'm gonna delete everything but
Yeah.
Panda at this point. We're just gonna keep that song.
You're going
But
in the folder with Chingy and OJ the Juice Man and everybody else I listened to just one time. Just
you're like,
one
I don't
time.
want to like fully delete it, but it's gonna go in the archived section where
Yeah.
if I really need to pull it out for reference or I miss it maybe once, I could do that. But yeah.
Like there's some designer songs that were like hype enough to listen to at an actual party. But like I can't just sit there and listen to designer all day long.
Right.
Just not.
Price tags. Actually, that's the song that I have. I don't know. Maybe those are the only two songs. But Panda is like still slaps after all these years. I was like, I love that, you know?
I mean, like I feel like it was the only time he really tried to like put together like some lyrics. Like, you know, you listen to the rest of his album and he's just trying to be loud. And
Yeah.
it was just clear throughout the entire thing. You're just trying to be loud. But like, I feel like Panda, he actually put words together and cadences and different deliveries. And I'm just like, that's a good song. I don't know how long it took to make it because he never made anything like that ever again. So like, you know, I don't know what all went into the making of Panda, but like he should get back on that program.
He was probably like, listen, I smoked a blunt one day. It took me 5 minutes to write it. And we're like sitting here praising him, like,
Breaking it down, like,
genius quality, like, greatest song of our generation. No, I'm just kidding. And then he's like, yeah, whatever. But
that's really how it goes, though. Like, I've had some songs that people have told me, like, yo, this is a bop, this is a slap forever. And I'm just like, it isn't. It really isn't. If you do, like, I don't even remember making it. Like,
you're like, listen, I was coming home from work and I'm typing in the notes section of my phone, just 3 things, boop, boop, boop. That's it. That's how it came out. And they're just like, tell me your creative process. And you're like, meh.
Just like I was really hungover that morning. Yeah, that's it.
Like I was craving breakfast but couldn't leave bed. So that's when, you know, that's where that line came from and that song. Because I love it. Yeah.
Definitely true.
That's it, and that's all, man. No, I'm so happy I got to talk to you. Is there anything else I feel like we're missing from this interview that you want people to know about you, or you know, you have a big announcement that's going to be breaking on this show? Like, is there anything specific that, like, because this is our first time like actually talking together, minus like talking shit on Clubhouse in a room together, you know? So it's like, what am I missing? What is there something from Chris Won't Miss that I shouldn't miss?
I mean, like, I feel like we've covered all the stuff that I'm usually. Oh, wait, no, there's I forgot about this. There is a shoot that I'm going to be doing with Julia, Miss BBB.
Yeah.
It's for the album cover. And I'm excited. I'm going to be wearing Cash clothing, which is the first limited release from Jack Dorsey and Square, who made Cash App. They're doing a clothing line. And
that's it's all so about interesting.
Like, it's like financial independence and all that stuff. So like that's something that they're trying to push. And I'm going to shoot I'm getting the clothes, but like it's backed up because of the snow. And like I've been waiting for like 2 months, and I'm like hurry up so that we can get started on this thing so I can know where I'm at. But it's cool because like all the snow is going to melt and the virus is going to go away. We're going to shoot this thing and it's going to be amazing.
That is going to be so awesome. And I saw that you were the big winner of the calendar. So now you have to write in the photo shoot in the calendar.
Yes. I'm going to figure out.
Is the plug. We love her.
Definitely.
I know. I saw your like unwrapping on Instagram. I was like, oh, what a magical moment. And I like that wrapping paper. I'm like, oh, that's cute. Like whatever.
Yeah, like she's sitting in wrapping paper. I was just like, yo, that is innovative. I appreciate that.
Yes, but you were like the big winner. I was like, yay. Yes.
Threw the Eagles in the trash.
Kind of like every season they've had. No, I'm just
kidding. Yeah, I mean, we can joke about it now because in 2017 we won the Super Bowl. So like we can make jokes about the
You're 4 years out from it, so you're like, it's okay, we can laugh now. But had this happened like 2 or 3 years ago, you're like, that's still sensitive, man. Don't say that.
Yeah, because we didn't have any Super Bowls at that point. Like
first
just to have the one
franchise history.
Yes, just to have that one, John.
Yes.
It's
So you're
crazy. I
gonna,
was talking to some of my friends, and it was like I was telling you, I've been an Eagles fan since I was a kid, and the one thing that I knew would never happen is the Eagles win the Super Bowl. So like I got to see that, and it just was like it kind of changed the perspective in my life. I didn't mean for it. Like, sports has an impact on everybody in their own way.
yep.
I just didn't see that as to be like, as major of an impact as I thought it would be. And it's something stupid. Like it didn't change anything about my actual life, but it's just how the outlook is.
No, but it's nice because like you dedicate all this time to like being a fan of theirs or watching the games, making it a point to like follow their stats. Like it's a different kind of investment in your life, right? So to actually
Yeah.
like see somebody that you're really cheering on succeed, you're like, oh, this is like the proud father moment in a sense. You're like,
Yeah.
yes, like this is what we've been waiting for.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like I guess like how people felt when we landed on the moon, like something that you never thought you would happen, just something that seemed completely ridiculous. Just like we
Right.
really, really hope that this can happen, but like we never seriously thought that the Eagles are going to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Like, come on.
The fact that you are, equating walking on the moon to the Eagles winning the Super think you're
Yeah.
lying to us, and this actually was a very big moment in your life. You're like, oh, it wasn't that big, but you're like, but the moon, like,
Yeah, that's Philadelphia enough. So don't they can't ask me about my birth certificate anymore.
right. That's so true. That's so true. And like, okay, one last question before I wrap
Yeah.
this up. What are your thoughts about Gritty? Like, do you like Gritty? What, like, you are from Philly, right? So it's like Gritty's definitely gaining popularity right now
Yes.
because you guys were forced to have a mascot, and that's the only reason why he exists.
Yeah.
But he's different. So I just want to hear from like a native Philadelphian what your thoughts are on Gritty.
When I originally was introduced to Gritty, I thought that he was basically just a Philly fanatic knockoff, and I didn't like him because of that. You
Okay.
can't just pick an amorphous thing and put little, like it's too similar. But like now over time, I've seen the evolution of, like the character that they created for him, and I'm just like, you know what? That is kind of like what Flyers fans are like. That's kind of how they are. Just like, Gritty means well, but he's random and chaotic, and I'm just like, that's as Philadelphia as anything. So like,
Yeah.
I didn't like him at first, but like, I'm coming around to Gritty now.
Yeah, you're like, all right, you're cool in my book. You can stay,
Yeah.
but like, because it's like all these other mascots that exist, and then you have this just giant orange fur ball, and you're like, who are you? What are you supposed to be? Like, we don't know.
Right, but that's how the fanatic is, and that's why you like the fanatic, because it's just like, what is that? But then, like, you're having fun when you're around them. So, I'm okay with Gritty.
All right, cool. You're like, I can cheer him on too. Yeah, because where was I?
Yeah.
Newbury Comics yesterday, which is like a store with all different, they have records, they have like Funko Pop, they had like a
Oh,
Funko
yeah.
version of Gritty, and I was just like, he's like big time now. If they made like a Funko Pop of him, I was
Right.
like, this is
Finally
great.
made it.
Yes, you're like, we're finally on the map. The Eagles won, and Gritty has his own
Yeah.
like doll. We are there, man. As a
Well,
whole
those made
city.
We made it finally.
Yes. As if like you guys are not known for anything else. Like the world, you're like, yes,
It's
these
true
are
though.
the
Like people will come here and they just wanted a Rocky statue, and then they want the Liberty Bell, and then they go have their cheesesteak and they go home. But there's other stuff.
there is other stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I did one out of those three things. So
Yeah.
right.
I
I
mean,
ran-
like, if you're
Julia
going to
made me run up those
vacation,
stairs. Yeah.
if you're going on vacation to a city, then like by all means do the stuff. You're a tourist, so like do the tourist stuff. That's fun, and it's fun for the people there too. I'll
Right.
run upstairs.
Right. You're like, I'll do it because you're here visiting. So I'm going to do this for you.
Yeah.
Because like, when the hell else are you going to go to the museum and run up the stairs on like on a Tuesday? You're not.
Yeah, people, like it's just I don't have that in my schedule because like it's just not in my itinerary. Running up the stairs because I live here though.
Right.
So like, you know,
But you got to play tourist
yeah,
sometimes.
it's all about like like everything is gonna either be fun or you can hate it. And it's up to you whether or not you want to have fun with it or you want to hate it with pretty much everything in
Right.
life.
No, that's so true. All right. So my challenge for you,
Yes.
okay? You have this new calendar.
Hmm.
Okay. I need you once a month to go write something in that calendar and actually do it, but only once a month you have to go do a touristy thing. That's all I ask. So like
Okay.
you can go visit the Liberty Bell next month, and
Yeah.
then the following month you can go to this place, and but that's all I ask of you is like, because we always take wherever we live for granted,
It's true.
and you're like, yeah, well, whatever, that's a touristy thing, I don't have to. But it's like fun to play in your own city and be a tourist every once in a while. So that is my challenge for you for the rest of 2021.
All right, that is interesting. I will take you up on that.
Yay! And I'll try to do the same on my end. I don't have a cool BBB calendar, but I have this from the WWF, not the wrestling, but like the wildlife.
Oh yeah.
Right. And it's fun. It's all colorful inside, but I'm gonna start writing things of things. So I'll challenge myself and do
All right,
that.
nice.
Yes, I'm so excited. Chris, thank you so much for taking all this time to chat
Oh
with
yeah,
me.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I can't wait to have you back. So once the next installment of the trilogy comes out, I want to have you come back. We're going to talk about the photo shoot, everything new, how many millions of dollars that you've gained in the stock market from your coins, from your Ethereum.
Ethereum.
I'm going to write that down and keep practicing. It's like hooked
You
on
gotta roll-
phonics version for me. I'm like, shit, I don't.
You got to roll the R a little bit so it's extra fancy.
Yeah, no, I pronounce my R's. I'm different than most people here.
Got to be like Ethereum.
No, I can't do it now. Usually I'm pretty good at I'm like, you know, up here in Boston, half the people don't even pronounce their R's. I am not part of that demographic, but I can't for right now. I don't know why. I just can't roll my R's. So yeah, but I'm going to practice. I'm going to write it down. You're going to be so impressed with all my knowledge of slums in North Dakota and cryptocurrency when we talk.
You got to study all the dirt and all the sand.
Yes, yes. That's no, honestly, like you think I'm joking. I'm actually going to like Google.
I'm pretty sure it is just a flat. It's the whole thing is just flat.
There will be one Google image. That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to do more research. I'll have to just go out there and visit. That I think that's
We'll do that after, you know, after we figure out the entire city thing, then like we can go super rural with it.
I love it.
Photos.
We're going to take a road trip, you and I. I mean, we could fly there, but do they even have an airport? I don't know.
I don't know. You might have to drive to like Minnesota or something to get to the airport. I really don't know, like for the life of me, what is out there.
Bismarck is the capital, I think, right? So they must have an airport there, at least a municipal airport, if nothing else. I don't know. I'm also going to research that, so I'll keep you posted. But Chris, thank you so much. I can't wait to have you back on, but thank you again for taking the time to chat with me.
Definitely, anytime.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right.